Okay, doke, time for some more inequalities. All right, this is lesson 2 in this unit. So I know yesterday was a big day, kind of a long lesson, a lot of points to consider from there. But hopefully you were able to grasp what we wanted you to from that lesson. And I also hope that you took a little bit of time to either take your own notes or screenshot and save some of the important things to reference back. But yesterday, what did we do? We wrote inequalities. We looked at the basic signs, right? Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. We looked at the fact that inequalities don't just have one solution, right? There's more than one number that can make an inequality true, and therefore we call the solution to an inequality a solution set, because there's more than one number. It's a set of numbers. We also then practiced graphing inequalities, right? That's kind of going to tie into today's lesson. Today's lesson is going to be writing inequalities from the graph of an inequality. So I think it would be a good place to start with refreshing what it looks like to graph an inequality. So I'm going to go through 2 examples just as a quick refresh. For this first example, it says graph the inequality x is less than -4. So if you can recall, to graph an inequality, we need a number line. So I'm going to get my line, and since this is -4, that's like my target number, as what I'm calling it, I'm going to center everything around -4. So let's go a couple to the right and a couple to the left. You probably don't need to write this many numbers on your number line, but whatever, this is pretty standard. So graph the inequality. Now, if you can recall, there's 2 options we have to consider, either an open circle or a closed circle. Open circle, a good way to remember it, it's open. The number passes through. It doesn't include that number. Closed circle, I like to kind of make a fist like I'm catching something, like I caught it. It's catching that number. It's including it. I don't know, a silly way for me to remember it. Anyways, since this whatever x is has to be less than -4, it's not going to include -4. So it's going to be an open circle. Doesn't include it. I'll use a different color so you can see it better. So open circle, not a closed circle. And x has to be less than. That means it's going to be all of the numbers to the left of -4. So this would be the graph of the inequality x is less than -4. It's all the numbers to the left of -4 on a number line. Okay, let's look at our second example. The second example here says graph the inequality x is less than or equal to -4. So we're again going to make our number line. I'm going to put -4 as like my central location. A couple numbers to the left, a couple numbers to the right. All right. In this scenario, I'm going to be using a closed circle because whatever x is has to be less than, or it could be equal to -4. So -4 is part of the solution set. So we're going to fill in a circle here, indicating to us that -4 is part of the solution set, and it's all of the numbers to the left, because it's also all the numbers less than. So it's -4, that's included, and anything less than -4. So as a little handy dandy reminder, you might want to add something like this to your notes. If it's an empty circle, you're going to use that for less than or for greater than. And if it's a filled in circle, you're going to be using that for anything that has the equal sign as part of it. So less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Cool. So now let's dive right in. The object of today's lesson is, if you were shown a graph of an inequality, could you tell us what the inequality is? And all I'm going to do today is go through 2 examples. That's it. And then you're going to be off practicing on your own. So example 1, there is the graph of some inequality. So let's try to pull apart what's happening here. we have a filled in circle. So I know that it's either going to be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, because the filled in part tells us that it's going to have the equal sign as part of the inequality. And now you have to look at, where's that shaded line? Is it to the left or to the right? Clearly it's to the left. That means it's all of the numbers that are less than. And where does this graph start? It starts right here at positive 4. So this inequality is going to be x is less than or equal to positive 4. And if you need to just double check yourself to make sure you're right, pick some value that satisfies this and see if it's on the shaded portion of the number line. So x is less than or equal to, I'm going to pick 0. That's less than 4. And that's right here. That's part of the solution set. Any number here should make x true. So 4 works, 3 works, -6 works, -1 billion works. And we've come up with our solution. This is the answer that we're looking for. What inequality represents this graph? All right, let's do one more. Since this one is an open circle, I know I'm either going to be using the less than or the greater than sign. This is not equal to -6 because it doesn't have a filled in circle. So I know it's going to be x. And this time, the shaded line is going to the right. So it's all of the numbers that are greater than -6. So I'm going to use my greater than -6. So whatever x is could be anything that's bigger than -6. -5, -4, -2, +5, +1 million. We could even have like -5.5, which is like right here on the number line. But as long as it's bigger than -6, it works. And that's why this is the inequality that represents this graph. So, I mean, I could do 20 more examples, but they're all going to work the same. So I've shown you 2. You also have this little chart, if it helps you, to remember what the circles are and what symbols they go with. So really, you're looking, do I have an open or a closed circle? And then you're looking, what direction is the line on the number line shaded? So once you've got that down, you're good to go. And so today's assignment is IXL based. You're going to be going to the 7th grade T.3 section. And as we've been asking for most of the IXLs lately, you should be spending about 15 minutes or so practicing. That's a good amount of practice to help you really start to comprehend this. And we're looking for a score around an 85, so put in the work. Also, if you open up the notes attachment on today's Google Classroom post, you will notice that there are 4 optional, keyword optional, extra practice problems. So if you want a few more just to see how you're doing, do those, and then they'll be attached on an answer key in the future so you can see how you did. Or you could ask one of us via a message or email to check your work if you'd like. Either way, have a great time mathing. Enjoy the day. Bye-bye.